Welcome to the Mor-In The Know podcast. I'm your host, Josh Morin, co-founder and vice president of Field Supplements, as well as sobriety, woke, business, and wellness coach. Mor-In The Know delivers an array of content based on marketing, health and fitness, personal branding, addiction, and often goes down the rabbit hole of conspiracy, politics, and the truth. If you seek to better understand the inner workings of business, consciousness, and humanity, you have come to the right place. Thank you for tuning in and tagging along. Let's get today's podcast started. What is up, everyone? It's a beautiful Tuesday here in Glendale, Arizona. And we are on number 29 for my 30 for 30 podcast series. Woo! Almost 30 podcasts. 30 podcasts in 30 days. This has been an incredible ride, but we're not there yet. We got 2 more podcasts left, and I have some phenomenal content for you. I was initially going to speak about a topic that I don't talk about, and maybe I'll get into it towards the second half of the podcast. But what I wanted to talk about was I saw this really awesome thing on my Instagram where I saw this story. Not really a story, but I'm just gonna go ahead and read it to you here because I just thought it was so great, and I wanted to give you guys some insight about what my perception is of this. It says before he died, a father said to his son, "Here's a watch that your grandfather gave me. It is almost 200 years old. Before I give it to you, go to the jewelry store downtown. Tell them that I want to sell it and see how much they offer you." The son went to the jewelry store, came back to his father, and they said, "They offered $150 because it's so old." The father said, "Go to the pawn shop." The son went to the pawn shop, came back to his father and said, "The pawn shop offered $10 because it looks so worn." The father asked the son to go to the museum and then show them the watch. He went to the museum, came back, and he said to his father, "The curator offered $500,000 for this very rare piece to be included in the precious antique collections." The father said, I wanted to let you know that the right place values you in the right way. Don't find yourself in the wrong place and get angry if you're not valued. Those that know your value are those who appreciate you. Don't stay in a place where nobody sees your value. Know your worth. Let me read that one more time. I wanted to let you know that the right place values you in the right way. Don't find yourself in the wrong place and get angry if you're not valued. Those that know your value and those who appreciate you. Don't stay in a place where nobody sees your value. Know your worth. Man, how true is that? Know your worth. And how many relationships and situations and people and places and scenarios have you found yourself in where people don't appreciate you and people don't really understand and appreciate and give you that value and that love that you deserve? Know your worth, people. Know your worth. And today's podcast is exactly that. Knowing your worth and what you should do when you find yourself in these relationships and situations where people don't appreciate you. Because the fact of the matter is sometimes you may be in a relationship. Maybe it's with a husband. Maybe you have a girlfriend. Maybe you are a son or a daughter, a friend, and you find yourself with the other person not appreciating you, not knowing your value and taking you for granted and knowing your worth. And not that you need to get angry, because it says right there, no need to get angry when these people don't see your value and they don't see your worth. There's no need to get angry because there's no need to allow them to contain that and give that emotional space. You're giving up your emotions when you get angry to their situation. Grant them peace, grant them serenity, grant them forgiveness, forgive them for what they do. But the best thing is separate yourself from that situation. Sometimes in life, you're going to have to detach, let go, surrender to some of these relationships. And I hate to say it, but oftentimes they are relationships with the man or a woman that you are in a romantic relationship with. And sometimes it may be your husband and it may be your wife. Or it might be your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and it could be your family. There's sometimes, and most of the time, that we find ourselves in these relationships where we're undervalued. Most of the time, they're very close to us. Most of our friendships, mainly, I feel that my friendships are really based around a lot of value because my circle is incredibly small. I've always been somebody who's had a really tight-knit circle. I haven't had a lot of friends. I don't really have a lot of friends, and that's okay. And I spend a lot of time alone, but I'm not lonely. Because I don't require validation from people. I don't require validation from others outside of myself to make myself feel worthy. And I feel that we often get in those traps where we often want to surround ourselves with all these different people, have all these different friends, and do all these different things. We want to feel included, and we want to do exciting social things, and we want to be part of a group, and we want to be a part of a culture. And we find ourselves finding our worth and our self-worth in these situations. But a lot of the times what I've seen is those situations can be very shallow depending on the group that you're part of. So take notice of who you are around and take notice of what value people are giving you and how much value and worth, and to know your worth. If you know that you're an exceptional woman, an exceptional man, an exceptional human being, if you know that you are a first-class individual with solid morals, with straightforward loyalty, respect, phenomenal communication, you're a giver, you're a lover, and you received as gracefully as you give, then know your worth, man. Know your worth, and don't give up. Don't give up your worth for some people just because they're close to you, just because they're friends. And I've had to do this over time. It's friends that I've had for long years, or a lot of years. It's not that I have any hatred towards them or any anger towards them. I just had to let them go. I've had to let some of those friends go. And I had another friend reach out to me earlier, and he asked, in sobriety, do you often feel lonely? And I would say yes. Early in my sobriety, I felt lonely because what was going on is I was in this major transition of friends, really, where 90-some% of my friends were no longer my friends anymore. I wasn't talking to them. I wasn't in contact with them. I wasn't around them. I was spending a lot of time by myself and a lot of time alone, and that's okay. Spending a lot of time alone is the best way to figure out who you are. And I highly suggest spending time alone, and you should get comfortable. You should be okay with spending time alone. It's not that I'm lonely. It's not that I'm antisocial, because I'm a pretty social man. It's not that I don't love people. It's that I like to take time for myself and better understand my inner workings and who I am as a person and how I think. Because what happens is oftentimes you get lost in the sauce. You get lost in the crowd. Where you're out with your friends, you start hanging around these people, and maybe they start acting in a way that you don't agree with. Maybe they start doing some things that you don't agree with, and maybe you don't speak up because it's herd mentality where you don't want to be the black sheep. I understand how that goes. And you don't want to piss off the group, or you don't want to cause a scene, and you just kind of want to fit in. You should separate yourself from those relationships. You should become aware of your worth, and you should begin to do the inner workings and focus on your inner workings as a human being to grow and expand, understand the cause to the effect of why you do what you do, begin the process of letting go, begin the process of surrendering, begin the process of releasing. And as you do this, it's not going to potentially happen overnight where all of a sudden you wake up and you have 500 new friends that are on that same vibrational frequency. But over time, what will happen is you up your attractor factor. You essentially attract and reflect who you are. So as you become a better person, as you grow, as you expand, as you begin to understand your inner workings, your outer workings begin to respond to that subconscious and conscious deliberate change that's happening inside of you on a vibrational metaphysical level. And this little segment is so awesome is because he went to the pawn shop, and he went to the jewelry store, and they only offered much because they didn't see the value. They didn't see the value. But then he goes to the museum, and they see the value, and that's all it is maybe you found yourself in a relationship, and you went and you had this man who just never saw your value, and you gave and gave and gave and gave, and maybe you just decided, hey, I moved on and let go. Or you had a girlfriend, you did the same thing. Or a friend, then you did the same thing, and all of a sudden, maybe your next one, maybe they didn't see your value again. But what happens is once you begin to understand your worth, and once you let go of that codependent relationship of them, you needing them and them needing you, and being codependent in that situation, and you let go of that, and you become whole, and your cup is full, and your heart's full, and there's no voids to fill. What happens is you find people, places, and situations that know your value and that know your worth. Because how many times have you gone from relationship to relationship, and all of a sudden, man, you find somebody who knows your value and appreciates you just for who you are. They don't want to see you change. But if you're in the process of growing and if you're in the process of expanding, they're only there to support. They accept you for you, and they love you for that in which you are growing into and becoming. those are the people that you want to be around. Those are the people who aren't judging you for what you do, and the people who don't judge you for your past. I'll be the first one to say I'm not a perfect person, and neither are you, and I never want to be a perfect person. I've lied. I've done bad things in my past, and we all have. We've all done these things. I've manipulated, and when I look back, I'm not incredibly proud on those, but I'm able to look at them objectively, the things I've done objectively, and I'm understanding why I did those things. And now that I understand why I do what I do, now that I can change that, I can change the cause behind the effect, and I can make sure that in due time and in the now, in the here and now, that I'm aware and conscious of these situations. Do I have often relapses in things? Yes, absolutely. I don't have relapses in substances, but I often have relapses in some sort of codependent behaviors. And we all are codependents. I want to say not all of us are codependents, but majority. And majority of us are addicts in our own way. And majority of us want to feel loved. But instead of that wanting us to feel loved, the moment that we can be love and embody love and feel that within inside ourselves, that's the moment that you can attract the love that you deserve. That's the moment that you can attract the people that you deserve. Over the last 14 months, I've gone through an incredible transformation. I feel I've absolutely expanded my consciousness. And if you knew me 14 months ago, I'm not the same man. Maybe I have some of the same character quirks. Maybe I speak a little bit the same, but I'm not the same person inside. And I'm not the same man that I was yesterday or last week. And that's what's awesome about people, is that they're forever expanding or growing. And you can either grow by choice or you can just grow. Conscious growth is tenfold different than unconscious growth, where you just, well, yeah, of course. Well, I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago either. Okay, well, that's awesome. But are you still doing the same shit? Do you still have the same tendencies and addictions? Are you still in the same codependent relationship over and over and over again? Do you still reflect to your reality that which you expect, which is the same thing over and over again? Or have you stepped into a place and a space, a peace where you understand why you do what you do, and you no longer are saying these things and attracting the same exact situations over and over again, with men who don't value you, women who don't value you, friends who don't value you, people that you work with don't value you, and now you're in a space and place where you've completely changed your attraction and you've changed your reality, and that in which you expect, you reflect, and now your expectation and now your self-worth and your self-esteem has risen. Your self-esteem has risen because you began to let go. You began to let go, and those voids now are no longer there. And now you know your worth. So those who are that in which you're in reality, those who are in your reality are completely different. They know your worth too. And that's today's message. I saw that and I just thought that was absolutely beautiful. People are in your life for a season, a reason, and a lifetime, or sometimes multiple of those things. People are in your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. Which one are you to people, and which one of those are people to you? And when you begin to understand that, life will completely change. Thank you for tuning in. This is episode 29 of 30. This has been a blessing for me to be able to join in on this podcast series. And I'm not really joining in. I am the podcast. Join in and deliver my thoughts each and every day. That's better. I'm not perfect. I'm continually working on my delivery. I'm continually perfecting my craft and my value, my personal value, to be able to deliver my best self to you. Because as I grow, and those who do listen to the content that I'm speaking, you'll see me evolve over time. And that's why I wanted to start this. And I appreciate you guys joining in the early stages of the fruition of Mor-In The Know podcast. As always, you can find me on Instagram at Mor-In The Know. That's MORINTHEKNOW. If you seek assistance in letting go, understanding your value, raising your self-esteem, your confidence, and being able to deliver in your best body and your best self, I offer 20-minute free coaching calls. Please direct message me. You can find the link below in the description box. Also, behind me, Fueled Supplements. Now's the time. Fueled Summer Gains is officially underway. Get your summer gains on it now. Jump on the train. The train's moving, baby, at fueledsupplements.com. You can find us on Instagram at Fueled Supplements. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow for the very final 30 for 30. But after that, I'm gonna keep on going. So it's not a sad goodbye. It's just I'm reaching a goal tomorrow, and I'm super excited. I got some awesome content. I love y'all. Peace out.